Hi, fifth graders. It's Miss Manning. We're going to continue today with Lesson 7, which is Chapter 7 in The Road to Freedom. We are learning to describe the narrative's point of view, how that influences how the events are described. So this is a lesson that we've already done or a skill that we've already worked on, but we're going to continue it now that we have more information from our story and we know more of Emma and her mom's plight. So for us to be successful, first we have to be able to determine who is telling the story. And we were able to determine that Emma is telling the story. But we have to describe whether it's first person or third person. So remember, first person uses words like I, me, my, or we, and we only know what that character sees or what they already know. If it's third person, we would see words like he, she, they, or the character's name. And that tells the thoughts and the feelings of one character, or sometimes it tells the thoughts and feelings of multiple characters. And we just identified some words that help you tell the point of view. But we also have to, so let's look at I just took a page from this lesson. So we have words like I whispered, but we also have we. So we tells me it's third person, but I says it's first person. So remember when I said just don't pay attention to anything inside of the dialogue. That's like a line that a character would say. But when it says I whispered, who whispered that? Where are we headed? Mama. So it's obviously Emma talking to her mama. So I. Then if we go down here, I just drifted off to sleep again when I felt the wagon stop and heard the driver's boots crunching the snow as he made his way to us. So I have the word I repeatedly, but then I also have he. So because we have that word I, we know it's in first person. And we've already identified that Emma is the I. Emma's the one telling the story. So it's first person point of view from Emma's point of view. So we're only seeing the things that Emma sees. We're only hearing the things that Emma hears, feeling the thoughts that Emma feels, and things that she already knows, like about her dad being taken away. And then we're going to explain how this point of view affects how the story is told. How is the story different because we are hearing Emma's point of view and not mom's point of view or a slave catcher's point of view? So our BT dub words for today, our first one is reins. It's just the strap of leather that a driver or a rider uses to guide a horse. That would be this right here. It goes into the horse's mouth. That's a bit, and you can pull back on the reins to stop a horse. You can slap the reins to make a horse speed up or move them from one side or the other to go left or right. Our other word is chariot. It's an open two-wheeled cart pulled by horses. So the chariot that we have in this picture is a very fancy one that people would take out to drive around. We're going to hear it kind of in a song, but they're talking about a chariot, like something like this, a sweet chariot. So while we're reading chapter 7, I want you to ask yourself, what events in this chapter bring Mama and Emma closer to reach their goal? The wind whipped above us as we rode into the night. Every now and again, we'd pass another wagon on the road, but mostly we were all alone. The steady clop of the mule's hooves and the creak of the wagon were the only sounds we heard. Where are we headed, Mama? I whispered. I don't know for sure, but we gotta be close now, she answered. I had just drifted off to sleep again when I felt the wagon stop and heard the driver's boots crunching the snow as he made his way to us. He moved the potatoes, then the cloth, and offered his hand. This is as far as I go, he said. We climbed out, stiff and sore. When my eyes adjusted, I saw a stretch of land. The stars and moon were bright above us. With so few trees for cover, I wondered how we'd hide. Go through the field till you come to a barn. If the lantern is lit, go on inside. Someone will be waiting, and they'll know what to do from there. We thanked him. I wished I had something to give him for his kindness, and without waiting, I stepped forward and hugged him. He smiled then and climbed onto the wagon. Y'all be careful now. Catchers ride along these roads, so make your way quick. He snapped the reins and was gone. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran across the field. It seemed like my legs couldn't move as fast after lying still for so long. but finally we saw a big barn behind a white house. Is that it? I asked Mama. Reckon so. I see a lantern, she said. The wide doors creaked as we opened them. Once we were inside, we closed the doors and headed to the hayloft. Mice scattered everywhere, but this time I stayed quiet and followed Mama up the ladder. We pulled 2 bales of hay lying in front of us and lay down to wait. What if no one comes? I whispered in the dark. What if this is the wrong barn? Emma, we got no choice but to trust. We give it some time, and then we got to keep going, same as we have been, Mama whispered back. We heard steps outside and then a voice singing, Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home. Sorry, 5th graders, I will not be singing for you on a video. The barn doors creaked open, and a small person dressed in a heavy coat and hat walked towards the ladder of the hayloft. Mama looked down. I'm a friend, a woman's voice said. My name is Harriet, and you need to come with me now. All right, so for our first vocabulary word, it's on page 38. The word is drifted. In the sentence, I had just drifted off to sleep again when I felt a wagon stop and heard the driver's boots crunching on the snow. So drifted is describing her sleep. So it's a way to describe going off to sleep. Our next word is lantern on page 40. If the lantern is lit, go inside. Someone will be waiting and they'll know what to do from there. So when we were reading it in the picture, there was a bright light. So a lantern is just an older light that they used before electricity that they would light with a candle. And scattered is our next word on page 42. Mice scattered everywhere, but this time I stayed quiet. And this one's a little bit harder. It's obviously something that the mice are doing, but if you are not familiar with barns, you're not going to know that mice hang out in barns because there's all the food from the animals. So they try to think of Charlotte's Web. There were mice in the barn because they're trying to eat all the leftover food or pieces that are dropped from the animals or the farmer. So when they came in, the mice scattered because they hide from people. They ran everywhere to hide. All right, so we are going to kind of talk about, we know the story is from Emma's point of view. So how does that kind of contribute to the tone of our story? So let's read through this page. Where are we headed, Mama? I whispered. Don't know for sure, but we've got to be close now, she answered. I had just drifted off to sleep again when I felt the wagon stop and heard the driver's boots crunching the snow as he made his way to us. He moved the potatoes, then the cloth, and offered his hand. This is as far as I go, he said. We climbed out, stiff and sore. When my eyes adjusted, I saw a stretch of land. The stars and moon were bright above us. With so few trees for cover, I wondered how we'd hide. So in this section of the book, Emma and her mom have been riding in this potato wagon, and they've just been having to trust this man to take them continuing on north. But now the guy is saying this is as far as I go. So they went from having a plan to suddenly he can't go any farther and they have to go a different direction. So it kind of leads to this uncertain tone. They're probably a little bit scared. So in this text, if we said that the tone is uncertain, but it's kind of a serious moment, what text evidence do we have that supports that we say the tone of this chapter is serious and uncertain? Well, that first piece of text, where are we headed, Mama? She has no clue. They just have to trust this man that he's taking them there. So we would add that to our web that says the tone of this chapter is serious and it's uncertain. They don't know. They're not certain. They don't know what is going on. So let's go back and look for some more text evidence that supports the tone of the story. And we get all of this information because Emma's telling the story from her point of view. We get to know her thoughts and feelings. So our next piece of text evidence could be in the next line. Don't know for sure. So not only does Emma not know where they're going, but also Mom doesn't. So we can add that to our web to support that the tone is serious and uncertain. Don't know for sure. So I suggest that you go back into the text and you look, even on just this page, you'd be able to find more text evidence for what the tone of this story is, especially in this chapter. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I will see you again tomorrow for chapter 8. Bye.